A hurricane took away the first thing I bought with my own money. Not quite a teenager yet, a summer of washing dishes resulted in $345. Every penny went to a new camera and film. Unfortunately, that camera and all of those photos were lost in 1989 thanks to Hurricane Hugo. But my love for light and art weren't. With photography, you can stop the world from spinning. With the right light and perspective, you can capture something compelling. Photography is about perspective. You have to stop and see what is there. And if you aren't present, you'll miss it. Technically, it's the light that makes the photos, and how much you let hit the film is what matters. It's purely the mechanical opening and closing of a small part of the lens, the aperture. Ego plays a similar role. When you approach things with a strong ego, it's like looking through a paper towel tube held up to your eye. This gives you a very limited point of view. When you check your ego, you put down that tube and you let in the light. Doesn't mean you have to change your mind, but at least you're not confined to a narrow perspective. There are 7.9 billion perspectives on this blue ball we're spinning on. This should make us excited, not defensive. It's impossible for us all to have the same perspective, and that's just wonderful. Yet we often enter conversations with the need to be either right or not wrong. The person across from you has been through a life and collected so much. Your time with them is an opportunity to learn. How do you get comfortable with the idea that you've run into someone who can teach you something, who may change your mind, who may shift your perspective? I recently reread To Kill a Mockingbird, and I love this line from Atticus Finch.
You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view.
Sir?
Till you climb inside of his skin, walk around in it.
But if I keep going to school, we can't ever read anymore.
Scout, you know what a compromise is?
Listening is a win win for everyone. The listener gets to take in perspective, knowledge, and maybe even wisdom. The speaker gets to be heard, feel special, and experience someone caring about them, loving them. When we take the time to listen, we learn. What is essential about listening, and maybe this is where it's lost, it doesn't mean agreeing. No rule says you can try to teach me, but I must also teach you. Society has put us in a position where we think we have to compete. We're constantly scrolling through competition. If you are better, I'm worse. And if you are winning, I'm losing. We are all on very different paths. We all have different hopes, dreams, talents, advantages, and struggles. What's easy for you is hard for me. What's easy for me is hard for you. Our equations are different, yet we find it incredibly easy to compare ourselves. This is all self induced, and it needs to stop. Stopping is about stopping. Stop moving your mind and stop moving physically. Square up and focus. When someone is talking, listen. And if you care, take notes and ask questions. Treat them like a teacher and seek to understand. Say, tell me more until there is no more. Stop comparing. You can win without someone losing. If you genuinely care about yourself, stop letting your ego get in the way of your progress. Your competition is in the mirror, not out the window. We win when we get better, whatever that means to you. The truth is, you may find more joy and peace in helping others win. Words matter. Words like please and thank you. Words like tell me more. Words like you are right. And especially words like I was wrong. When you agree with someone, don't hesitate to say, you are right. Just make sure it's followed by a period, not a but. Life is just perspective. And while it may seem that we can control very little, we can always control our perspective. I'll leave you with this beautiful exchange between Scout and Atticus, again from To Kill a Mockingbird. where Scout says, Atticus, he was real nice. Atticus replies, most people are Scout when you finally see them. Take care out there.
Neighbors bring food with death, and flowers with sickness, and little things in between. Boo was our neighbor. He gave us 2 soap dolls, a broken watch and chain, a knife, and our lives. One time, Atticus said, you never really knew a man until you stood in his shoes and walked around in them. Just standing on the Radley porch was enough.